Spend some time with us in the garden today as we show you how we clean up our edges after a long winter.
We're also going to be maintaining two of our favorite perennials, lavender and salvia.
And doing a bit of pruning on our bald cypress and our Mini Mauvette hydrangeas. In our backyard, we have two specimen trees, a paperbark maple and a Princeton century ginkgo. And underneath each one, we have gone ahead and cut out a square. Last spring, or maybe it was the spring before, kind of on a whim, we decided that we would do this design based on the gardens of King Charles over there in England.
At Highgrove, which the more I look at that garden, the more I feel like I need to get to England immediately.
And it's not something that we do in our garden. Normally we have curvy, round, undulous beds, but there was just something about cutting them square as a specimen tree and then underplanting that really appealed to me. Last year we underplanted with some marigolds and some ageratum that Christopher grew from seed. This year, we're going to be underplanting with some sweet romance lavender and some gomphrena that Christopher is working on right now in the basement. What's the variety, Christopher?
Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh.
What color is it?
It's not raspberry cream, it's salmon pastel.
All right, so it's going to be this pinky, again with the purple, because you know that our color theme this year is pink and purple. So Christopher, come on in here, take a close-up look. We can see that we have had grass growing into the beds. A lot of people ask, how do you keep the grass from growing into your bed? We don't. I don't feel like there's a way to absolutely prevent it. It's something that you need to maintain and stay on top of. So over the winter, obviously this has gotten a little bit of a softer edge to it. We're gonna go in today, show you how we clean up that edge, probably make it a touch bigger, and get it prepared for planting this season.
A while back, you might remember, if you've been with us a while, we did a video on my methodology for how I like to approach edging. In this case, it's fun because I get to show you the start to finish. A lot of times it's just maintaining edges, but my number one tool for creating edges is the Root Slayer edger. There are other half moon edgers that work well. I've also seen more diagonal or triangular ones. I've seen squares. I like this, not just because it's got all these teeth, but this little indent in the middle, it kind of keeps your line nice and straight. It doesn't push you all around. But when I'm doing an edge, Eric, how far out do you think I should go? Should I do a good couple inches?
Yeah, let's start with a couple inches and see what happens. The more you cut out at once, the bigger the chunks and the heavier they are to carry.
And we have, of course, been having April showers. So what I'm gonna do is just go in here a couple inches away from the existing edge. I like to keep the little foot pad away from me. Maybe it's the size of my feet or boot. And then I go straight down. Then I do a little bit of a pullback for each spot. And I'm gonna slide down here, keeping that line nice and straight, push and pull. And yes, it's gonna be on the deeper side. That is one of the few weapons we have against the grass, is the air pruning that happens when the roots come up against the straight line of soil. There we are here.
I think even just these couple inches are going to make a huge difference as far as planting space.
I agree. The lavender does get a little bit bigger than those marigolds did, and they were so successful. I was really happy with that planting.
They were. How big does Sweet Romance lavender get? We have some in our garden right now, but it was just planted last year. We're going to work on pruning it in just a bit.
Oh, look at the size of that wormy.
A giant worm. But how big does it get? I can't remember the stats. We can put it up on the screen.
I'm not going to be as scientific as I was last year trying to create these beds. And my reason for that is, unless I'm flying the drone, you really can't tell exactly what angle this is to the house. So we're just gonna be nice to ourselves and not make as big of a stink about the angle as we did last year.
I guess the most important thing is to make sure that the tree is mostly centered in the square.
I think that's probably the only thing I'm really focusing on, is making sure that that is the case. When I was doing a little bit of research on Highgrove and the way that they've planted the fruit trees in the orchard at Highgrove, they started out with lavender, but once the trees got too big, they ended up having to switch them all out to catmint.
because the catmint could tolerate that part sun better than the lavender.
Right.
Which I was surprised, because our catmint here really thrives in full sun and kind of gets floppy in part sun. But they have a totally different climate over there. Every time we watch a British garden television show, I'm always in awe of what they can grow. I mean, they can grow hostas and like they can grow shade and sun stuff in the same garden bed sometimes that we could never do.
I know, their gardens are so inspiring for us. So you can see, I'm just going around lifting up what's there, and this should mostly come up in one piece, but I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm actually going to go like this.
Yes. It's the beginning of the season.
Yes. This is the garden of protecting our joy and protecting our backs.
So we've got our gorilla cart, which is very handy. As you remember from our big pot video, it's pretty much indestructible.
So all I'm doing, because at this, oh wow.
April showers make soil heavy.
That's heavy. And a rock. But so this edge here, that's nice and straight, the roots of the grass will grow towards it, and then they'll just stop trying to come in. So ideally, what'll happen is we'll gently slope the compost mulch down towards this edge here. And then when Eric mows the lawn, he just has to be very cautious to not fall in and cut my edge off.
I know, but what happens usually is I end up getting one wheel. The edges, you know, as the season goes, they will get kind of flattened and they need to be maintained. So it's just part of gardening. I get a lot of questions about how do you stop this? And I just feel like you can't stop. You just have to maintain and work with.
Right, we work with what we've got going on. And then as the season goes, what I will do is come through with the shrub rake after I use an electric edger and just kind of maintain this little bit. We'll get grass here on the edges. We'll pluck that out, use one of those loop hoes now and again. But that is the general gist of how we create those edges. And this is the exact same way that it happens when we create curves, just not in a straight line.
Yeah. So down here, this bed is now going to be ready for planting our lavender and our gomphrena. And then once that's planted, we'll go in and we'll top dress with compost. We use compost instead of bark mulch just because it adds so much nutrients to the soil. It's a nice clean look that doesn't fade in color over the season. And our soil needs that health improvement.
Really needs the amendment.
Yeah, this is backfill. This was a new construction home in 2018. So all of this soil we're working on is really backfill.
Yeah, it's not great. We're not worried about, soil composition as we're digging. We are creating soil composition.
Also, a great time in spring is to go in, double check, make sure you don't have too much buildup happening around the root flare of your tree. So I'm really glad I took the time to get down here and look. Mm-hmm.
It's about an inch or so up higher than it should be. The root flare is the part of the tree trunk that it just flares out the tiniest bit, and that's where your roots are going to start coming from. Often trees over the years, because they're mulched, that root flare gets buried, and for your overall health of the tree, you want to expose that little bit.
Yep, so every spring, before you add more compost, go in, make sure that it's exposed. And this is all set for spring and for planting. So let's head over to that paper bark maple and do it all again. And there we have it, freshly cleaned up edging for the season. And this is one of the reasons why we choose not to do something like a stone edge or a metal edge or something plastic, is we like the flexibility, we like the aesthetic, and it's kind of fun to be able to change and shape your beds as the season progresses on a whim.
On a whim. We are going to treat our backlight luminary phlox and all of our phlox in the garden the same way we've been treating the roses. We are going to give them bunny, and in this case, groundhog protection. For the last couple years, we have had these beautiful plants starting to grow, and then all of a sudden they disappeared completely. So this year, we're going to protect them so we can have beautiful blooms that last for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Right here in front of our Korean icebreaker fir, while Christopher finishes that one up, I'm going to go ahead and prune back these cherry truffle heucheras. The contrast of this red foliage against the icy blue of the Korean fir is outstanding. One of my absolute favorite moments in the garden. So, I'm just going to neat them up.
It's always good to be able to report on heuchera, because heuchera, you know, some of them are so reliable. They always come back, like spearmint always comes back. But every once in a while you try a heuchera and it doesn't come back. And this is a very exposed spot. So cherry truffles is showing us quite a bit of hardiness here in zone 6A.
There's that. Let me get
that looks so
last
tidy.
one.
So tidy.
While I'm here, Christopher, should we skip to the Mini Mauvette before we go to the heaving Salvia?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's skip the heaving perennial for just a moment and take a look at the Mini Mauvettes that you're already climbing on the ground next to.
Okay, these are Mini Mauvettes. They are a smooth leaf hydrangea. They bloom on new wood. They are hardy in zones 4 through 8. Now, most arborescence type hydrangeas are hardy all the way down to zone 3, but not these. They're one of the exceptions that are only hardy down to zone 4. They grow very thick, sturdy stems, nice compact habit, maybe 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, and Mauvette color blooms. Again, they bloom on new wood, which means they can be pruned in spring for shape and size control, or if there's late frost or deer come by and nibble them, they will still bloom for you that year. This is a hedge of 5 we planted here right along the edge. We mounded up this edge a little bit to plant them up higher because water does tend to settle here, which is why we have the bald cypress and we have the hibiscus and other water-loving things. But these were just planted last year. You can see they're kind of all over the place when it comes to structure. They were just little babies. And I'm going to take my gloves off so I can do a little bit of scratch test.
See where they...
I could wait until they really bud out, but these look a little questionable. So I'm just going to start right down here where I do see a little bit of a bud and see they are green.
Oh, that's good.
So they are alive. So I'm just going to go through, prune them down a bit, take out any of this dead congestion in the center, which I'm thinking there might be quite a bit of.
Yeah, anything that feels papery and desiccated or just crispy.
Yep. But even this is interesting, Christopher. Come in real close. All of this right here is dead, right? But I don't want to just yank at it because look at the base of it.
Oh, there's new growth at the base.
There's new growth. So I'm just going to cut right above that. It's worth getting down, taking the time, seeing what's what with these kind of hydrangeas.
And he can't see from his angle, but look at that big new bud coming out right from the ground.
Oh, I do see that.
That's great.
In a cold zone like ours, you never know what's going to make it through the winter and what's not. So again, I'm going to look and prune anything really small or spindly or smaller than a pencil and try and just give it all one even shape so it looks like a little bit of a muffin at the end. Look at this, so much growth. That makes me happy to see this growth. These are going to look pretty brutal when I'm done, but they're going to be totally fine.
You know, I think we spend so much time on panicle hydrangeas because their pruning has a bit of a, I would say, not technical, but there's a little more precision to it. The arborescens / Annabelle family, they can be a little bit more forgiving, I would say. But it's nice to take the time and give them that shape. Wow, that just went from, ooh, it looks great to brutal.
It's going to be totally fine, though. I see so much new growth at the base happening.
Great.
I cannot believe how much better this already looks with just a little bit of touch-ups. Here we have a drift of pink profusion salvia that we planted last fall. Overall, they look pretty good. See a lot of new growth on them, maybe one that's a touch questionable, but you can see there is some heaving. And what does heaving look like? It looks like the plant's root ball is just coming right out of the ground, and that happens in our colder climate Because the ground freezes and then it thaws, and it freezes and it thaws. And because these were planted last fall, the roots didn't get a chance to get into the ground and like really hold that plant in. So you have a couple of options. You could go through, press them down, see how much give there is. You could pull them up and replant them, or you could just kind of top dress around them. These over here, they look great. There's no issue with these at all. This one back here, we're starting to see a little bit of the heave. If I were to jiggle it a bit, press it in, I think I can get away with just pushing some extra compost or topsoil up around it. I don't think there's an issue there.
No, that one, and it also is obviously with that drip line next to it, gonna end up with some compost in that area.
Yeah, I think that one will be fine. This front one looks good right here. You guys might remember us planting these last fall. It was really a beautiful drip. This one back here is really heaving. Again, you can see it almost looks like the can just came right out of the ground. I'm gonna do a little bit of pressing. I don't know. I might want to kind of lift it and replant it. If there is a shovel nearby, I'll do that right now. Or
There's not just any shovel, Eric.
What kind of shovel? Oh, it's your favorite shovel.
My favorite hysterical, silly, tiny shovel.
The tiny shovel. And I bet this is going to come out as if it was just freshly planted. Yep, see?
Yep, it thinks it's still in the can.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the roots though at the bottom.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead, get in here, give it a little extra oomph. All right, I'm going to climb over the sting arborvitae. There's some lamb's ear back here. I can't remember the specific.
It's a kind of stackies. It is stackies something.
Stacky something. All right, come on in here, Christopher. This one looks extremely questionable. But way down there, I see a green leaf. So we can make a decision. We can replace it with one that's been overwintering in the garage, or we can dig it up, replant it in, and kind of see what happens. So either we do the work now and wait, or just replace it. I mean, we're lucky that we have the resource to just replace it, so I kind of think we should.
I think I should run back to the garage and grab another one that we know is alive.
And then we can switch them, keep this one in the pot along with the other extras. And if it comes back great, no loss. But if it doesn't, then we saved ourselves the trouble later in the season. Turns out we don't have an extra pink profusion in the garage. We thought we did. So I have a plan. I'm going to lift this one here. Kind of inspect it a bit. I mean, it looks like it could be fine, but it's also kind of crumbling apart in my hand, which concerns me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the other one did at all.
So I'm going to set this aside here. Then, this is the joy of gardening with perennials. You guys are going to be so excited to see this. I'm going to take this one here.
I have no idea what he's doing.
I know, I didn't tell Christopher. And I'm going to plop it in this hole here. Just wait.
We're waiting. We're all very curious.
And then, because I like drifts and I like continuity, I'll be back for you in one moment.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna take this serendipity allium right here. And cut the back chunk off of it.
Okay. I didn't see this one coming, folks. Did you guys see this one coming?
And now we have no
hole in the
garden.
border. And if there is a plant that we have divided successfully many times, it is this serendipity allium.
And there we go. What do you think of that solution?
I think that was a quick and efficient solution.
Fill this hole in here. This will get top dressed with compost and evened out. You won't even be able to see the back of the serendipity allium being a little bit flat.
And that gives us an opportunity to put something slightly taller if we wanted between these two roses right there. Huh.
Yep, and it was either going to be that or a little bit of catnip, but I thought let's continue this pattern.
Yeah, because then we'll have this kind of blocky drift. While you're messing with that, see, we have the Mini Mauvette drift, and then it goes into the cherry truffles with the phlox drift. Serendipity wraps all the way around into the pink profusion.
Yeah, so I chucked that one that looked a little questionable. This one's going to press right in. That's fine.
Great. I feel like you're doing CPR on the lawn.
On the lawn?
I mean, on the garden.
And this one presses right in as well.
From the looks of it, the
schmeezy.
ones in back heaved, the ones in the front, it's almost like a bit of erosion on the little bit of slope that goes right down towards Eric's knees right there.
Yeah, this one, again, just heaved a bit. Gets pressed right in. And now, we still have a beautiful drift of pink profusion salvia without any interruption, and it flows beautifully from the serendipity allium into the pink profusion salvia.
And then keep backing up, keep backing up. Then we go into the firelight tidbits. There's those little tiny sticks right there, into our next perennial we're gonna work on.
Oh yeah, our lavender.
Last year we added in this lovely hedge of sweet romance lavender, and it was beautiful. So to make sure it is still beautiful, we are going to take after this and do some pruning. We're going to do the method where we prune it pretty short every year so that it doesn't establish that woody base, and then you have to worry about pruning too low. What I'm gonna do is get in there and just take away all that growth from last year, and then we don't form a woody base that we have to worry about cutting into. Because one of the hard parts with lavender is you have a woody base and you cut into it too deep, you stop it from growing.
We haven't had much success with lavender because we are pretty wet here. I mean, on average, we have more rain than Seattle. So lavender doesn't quite love it. So we did not add drip to this section. It does get a little overspray from the lawn, but I'm hopeful this works for us.
I think we're gonna be super successful. Oop, worm.
And lamb's ear. Last thing on our agenda today is to prune up our bald cypress. Now these are native to our growing zone here in upstate New York.
And they get really big. Up north of us, my microphone fell off, in the Adirondacks, there's one of those zip lining parks where we have gone and you climb through the trees and zip line, and they are all bald cypresses up there.
Yep, that hold the zip lines, and we should do that again this year. That was really fun. So we went to the Chicago Botanic Gardens this past fall with Bethany, the Chicago gardener, and they had the most interesting architectural way of pruning these trees. And we spoke to one of the gardeners who was working on them. And basically what they did is they pruned out every other layer of branch. And it just gave them a really cool look. And for us, I think that would work well because there are some beautiful sun-loving shrubs and perennials right underneath it. And so while it's young, we can have a little fun with it. You know, once it reaches a certain age and a certain size, it's not gonna be able to be doable. But while it's young, we're gonna play and have some fun with the pruning. I think what we need to do is consider taking some off the bottom again.
Okay. Maybe this one.
No, the one in front of that, going straight out the front.
This whole thing?
Yes, just for sun for the plants underneath it. And
okay.
No, maybe not.
It's a pretty big branch.
Yeah, the one in between them.
This one and this one? Or just this one?
Just that one.
Okay.
As I'm looking from here.
So let me get up underneath there, make sure I'm...
Those white sticks coming out of the ground are all hardy hibiscus. They love full sun and they love wet soil, just like a bald cypress. So they're a great pairing.
I have my pruning saw and I'm being conscientious of not cutting into the bark of the tree.
So one of these has to go that is split.
Okay, so it's either the one that...
I think it's that one that your hand was just on.
This.
Yep.
So it's this piece that kind of goes this way.
Yep. Standing from this angle, it's that. No. Yes. Yes.
It is.
Sorry. Yep.
It is, okay.
Yep.
It's a sharp little saw.
Oh yeah, that looks really cool.
That looks good, right? It opened it up.
Yes. Now I think I'm ready to move up.
This one.
Sure. Strong.
Got two tools. I do think one of these two.
Oh, not the bottom one. I think on the bottom ring, on level 3, I'm going to call it, the one to the right. So go back to that front one, bottom one. You were at that one, and then move to closer to U1. Maybe that, no. I don't think so. I think maybe it's the, oh, I don't know. I guess.
Because it's kind of in between this one and this one.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be a huge gap there.
But that's the point, because once these trunks...
So maybe it's the bottom one.
So maybe it's this one.
Yeah. Let's try it. I mean, it's a tree. It'll grow. I mean, we
It
can't
is.
put it back, but
We can't put it back, but we can give it a good shot. All right, this one.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's normal to be hesitant. Yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but we'll see what happens.
What? Wait, you've got the angle, the good angle. I can't.
I know, but now I think the one next to it needs to go down front. Now, let's come over here and look.
Okay, I see what's happened. We now have a bottom tier that goes out, and we have that one that's coming up and forward, so that has to stay.
But what about that one to the left?
The left that goes up and out
Yeah.
has to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And now, yeah, then we're getting rid of, okay, so we're getting rid of level 2. So level 2 is going.
Level 2 is going.
The Bald Cypress Massacre, live on Grow For Me Gardening. Close your mouth. Where bald cypresses
Well, you know,
come to get even more bald.
right. Watch a bald cypress get even more bald.
Okay. So
Okay.
level 2's gone and I like it.
I would now like to take this out here.
Oh, sure. I can't even see it from the front. I don't think it matters.
Exactly. It's just going to help with the weight distribution visually. Ooh, that was a good one. Now, let me come back over here.
So now we've got level 2 out. Level 3 is kind of still hodgepodgey.
Okay, I think what would help... Nope, I like this branch here. I want to
do.
take this one
Okay.
and leave this one.
Okay. Do it. Okay, I'm seeing it coming together.
Yep, that made a big impact.
All right. Now it's time for the ladder, I think.
Did we even mention why we were doing this? Because it looks like a funny lollipop most of the time?
Yeah, architectural interest, some fun, whimsy, you know, the huge.
If I hold on this tree, I feel safe. Okay. Now, this has to stay. This has to stay. Does this over my head need to stay?
Yes, because there's no branch under it for feet.
A while. So this has to go.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'm safe. I'm holding on to the tree branches for support. So I'm gonna take this.
Yes. I can come film from that angle and hold the ladder for you. Let me do that.
Okay.
Come around this way. I feel like I'm trying to be mindful of lighting, but your safety is probably more important.
Okay, you've got the ladder?
I've got the ladder, I'm standing on it.
I'm going up higher. Now I just have, this is such a show right now. Okay, wait, this one? No, it's this one.
Yep. Don't blow away.
I've done it. I've done it. Okay. I'm holding so you can back up a little bit for the
Yes.
view.
Forgive the lighting. Safety first.
Now, I think from the back here, well, that has to go.
Yeah.
I think it's this stays, this goes.
Yep, I agree.
I think the ladder is now in the soil enough. I feel secure.
You look secure.
Now, this.
That stays, the one above it goes.
This goes.
Yep.
Ooh.
That whole middle row, that whole
This
level
is done.
goes. That
This-
all stays. That one and the one behind it goes. It's a pruning extravaganza.
This is going to be the baldest cypress that ever.
Category is bald cypress. How bald can you make it?
How bald is it?
It's so bald. All right.
Okay. This is level 3, has now been accomplished. Now, there's a lot of little dudes up here. So
Yeah, you probably just need your pruners.
Yep, let me switch over here.
Take your time.
It's nice having luxurious overalls with all these pockets.
And then just
Okay.
do whatever you want at that point. Get all the little ones out. Well, this is cool. I like this. Remember, guys, we are doing this just for fun. You don't have to prune your bald cypress. Do you want me to hold the ladder so you can go up another step or two?
Let me do the step and then I'll tell you. Nope, I'm as secure as one would feel if they were this high up.
Yeah,
In
it's
a
just
tree.
sinking into the ground. You're fine.
Listen to his confidence. Okay. I'm kind of seeing a flow. I'm seeing some stuff.
Seeing the vision?
I have a vision.
We forgot to prune our birch trees and our maple trees in the fall. And the reason you prune them in the fall and not the spring is because right now in the spring is when birch sap is running and maple sap is running, so we wouldn't want to do it now. So we'll have to remember to do it in the fall. Boy, was last fall wild for us. So much going on.
There was a lot going on.
I'm going to back up a bit. On camera, it looks, it's kind of hard to see, but in person, it really looks excellent. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Would you like a hand?
If you applaud me right now, I'm going to yell.
Everybody,
It
clap.
starts clapping. Uh-huh. All right, this is doing so many. I'm actually holding this branch like a molasso or like the reins on a horse. All right, that branch is good.
No, yes, that tiny baby one. And then
Tiny-
the one to the left of the one you were just at.
This.
Yep.
No, because
Yes.
there's a juncture point right there. I think it's going to grow in really nicely. I would take this.
Okay.
No, 'cause it-
I don't think so. I think that one on the left at the juncture point, but I can't see the juncture point, so
So here, you think?
that one looks like it needs to go. Squeeze!
Oh my goodness.
You can do it. You did it!
That's not exactly the nicest cut, sorry tree. It's worth it. Think of all the energy this is gonna have to push into outward and upward growth. Okay. Do you feel like I should go up a little more?
Only if you're comfortable. I don't think it's necessary. It's totally up to you.
I'm gonna have to get a fire truck to pull back here so I can do it next year.
You're gonna be like a cat stuck in a tree. Going wild, going rogue.
I'll tell you who's going to be really happy about this. The evening rose hibiscus directly underneath me right now. Every year it's just like, can I have a little more sun?
Yep.
Just a little. There is one branch I really think I'm going to take.
Which one?
I think I want to take this branch. Let
But
me bend
why?
it. Let me bend it down a little. These are a little more upright.
Uh-huh.
That kind of.
I think from this angle it balances perfectly the symmetry.
All right.
I
trust
just wouldn't.
you. I'm putting the pruning saw away. It's in my pocket. I'm very happy that we got another day of April chores done.
It felt so good to get out in the garden today, so thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.